Are you ready to bring math journals into your classroom as early as kindergarten to get them prepared with what they need to learn in word problems as they get older? My name's Shannon from SIS, the number 4 teachers.org, and I'm so glad to share with you our Math for Littles publication called My Math Word Problem Journal. This is a time that we're going to enter into a little bit more of a journal that will look similar to what children are going to do in their elementary years. Previously in this series, you want to make sure you understand that developmental sequence that we should go through from real objects in the physical world to quantitative pictures, and then spend lots of great time, especially in the kindergarten years, even doing our math work mat where we're acting this out through CPA. As we start to look at this one, you can go to our website and watch other videos to show how to do the part-whole addition and even the missing add-in. This one's going to focus on part-whole subtraction using concrete pictorial abstract means. All of our journals are coded in the upper right-hand corner for K5 to help the teacher understand which strategy we're really working with here. So this is a part-whole subtraction denoted as PWS. Each of our journals also features a picture of some sort to give the child a sort of a picture of what the scenario is in the story problem. It's important when you're reading the story problems to really help children to get into the world of what's happening. So Michael went to the candy shop, talking about if they've ever been to the candy shop or have gotten candy before. He bought 5 lollipops. He ate 3 lollipops. How many does he have left? When we're reading this, we like to read chunks of information within the story problem and have the children repeat after you what you say. And as we get going, we start to put chunks in, which I'll show you in a minute, that we kind of chunk out the information. We have a sentence form on every math work mat because we want students to be able to understand what it is they're solving for. So in this case, we're solving for Michael had lollipops left. I like to say because kids put their hands out and kind of shrug their shoulders because they aren't really sure what the answer is. We don't want them to write BLANK, but in our kindergarten and our first grade journals that we feature, they all have sort of this sentence form sort of developed for them, because as their language develops, they're going to get better at being able to create these sentences on their own. I think it's important to go through that developmental stage to start off with students first acting this out concretely. So you could use counters, you could use Cheerios, you could use 1-inch square tiles, anything that you have in your room or at home that can help the child kind of listen to the story problem, similarly to how we did on our math work mat, but this time the math work mat's blank and we're kind of giving this new scenario that they might not be familiar with, and the scenarios change day to day. So let's kind of act out this story problem. We know that Michael went to the candy shop and ended up getting 5 lollipops. So I'm going to take my circles and kind of drag over the 5. Now you'll see on my math work mat here, I may have put like a cup or even like a plate or something, or even if you want kids to kind of draw, if you have your math work mat in a clear sleeve, they could draw maybe even with a dry erase marker if you are taking away. Because it's nice for littles that concept of having something and some going away is sometimes confusing. So there was 5 lollipops. We know that Michael ate 3, so I'm going to take away 3 in my concrete objects to show that I have 2 left. The beginning stages of using concrete pictorial abstract really should start with that conceptual understanding, especially as they're hearing a story, before you move them into the quick draw. So once you can get kids to have this concrete way and they're able to describe it with inanimate objects, you're really on the way to success. Now for this journal, I went ahead and filled out the different parts to it. I even added in the chunks that we start to do with kids because we want them, as they get older, to start to look at the pieces and dissect word problems. So as you see, I've put blue lines in there where new pieces of mathematical information appeared in the story. I decided with my quick draw not to make fancy lollipops with different colored wrappers and making them all different, colors. I just made them, 5 blue circles to make it simple. I crossed off the 3 to show in my drawing that that's how many, Michael had eaten. And then I kind of circled what I had left. The idea here is to get kids over time to do organized drawings, meaning they could label, these three over here were eaten, and this was left. So this could have an E and that could have an L. They kind of getting them to label what it is they're doing on their drawings. We also offer this in a 10 frame to get kids to kind of keep in that same organized sequence. So I chose to use my red crayon and put in 5 lollipops, and then I crossed off my 3. Kids can also start off using this with the number bond. So I know the total that we started with was 5. As we kept going, I knew that Michael had eaten 3. So if I know that that's the case, then how many are left? That's really where the question mark is here. And so we know that there are 2 lollipops that were left. So that number bond can kind of be complete. Obviously here we were given a total and a part, and we had to find the other part. Down here you can work with kids to see how they are looking at the algorithm. The word computation is kind of hard, but it's looking at that number sentence. We have a box, a circle, a box, equals, and a box because we want the kids to decide what operation they're going to be using. So I know that we started off with 5, and then I know that I actually took away. So I'm using the subtraction sign here, and then I am going to put my other part here, which was 3. And then it's asking, what did we end up with in our answer? And so I know that if I had 5 and I took away 3, I would be left with 2 here. And so down below here, you can really get kids, as they're ready to start to use the algorithm here. But if they're certainly not ready, keep going to the mat and then build in the drawing and the number bond and the 10 frame. And then when kids are ready, you can start the number sentence. You can also write the number sentences for students as well to help them before they're ready to go to this stage. Once kids are done, they want to make sure that they go back to that sentence form and complete the answer, because sometimes kids get into solving problems so much they sort of forget about what they were being asked. So we know that Michael has 2 lollipops left. Lots of stages going on in this journal, but it's a really great developmental way for littles to access information that's going to look a lot like their journals are as they get into 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. We hope that you found our tutorial video helpful on how to bring a word problem journal into your home or classroom for littles. We hope that you'll connect with us on our website at sis4teachers.org. You also can join us on any of the social media channels that you see displayed there on your screen at the handle at sis4teachers.